All episodes of X-Men 97 is now streaming on Disney Plus. Did it stick the landing? We're going to let you know. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to Fly By Night Reviews. I'm your host, Kiren.
I'm Dom.
Today, me and Dom are reviewing episodes 5 through 10 of X-Men 97. But before we start, make sure you like and subscribe below. We are almost at 200 subscribers. And there will also be spoilers in this video, so you're warned. But Dom, what did you think?
I thought this was great. I was worried about the overall show when they announced it. It's like, oh, they're just gonna are they gonna be able to do as good as they did at the original show? And it was better than expected. Better than anybody expected, I think. And I was floored by this.
Yeah, to be honest, like when they kind of launched the trailers, the animation didn't look as good. It looked kind of like very stiff and but now watching the show and you can kind of tell I think the animation's a lot better than the original.
Oh, yeah. It's just trying to look at it. Yeah, you kind of remember it looking better than it did, and then you go watch it, oh, and then you hear they were on tight budget in the earlier show, so it's oh, okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, these last 5 episodes, definitely the last time we did the video, it kind of left on a cliffhanger, somewhat of a cliffhanger.
Genosha, yes.
Yeah, Genosha just gets nuked by Sentinels and all kinds of stuff. A lot of mutants die. It was probably the darkest episode yet. I think pretty much. I think number 5 it still kind of holds.
That's pretty dark. I got pretty bleak there. There were definitely still more dark moments, but not quite as dark.
Yeah, because episode 6, it kind of switches gears a bit. We find out
you kind of needed to decompress after episode 5 a little bit. So.
Yeah, Professor X is living off planet, and to be honest, I didn't really enjoy the episode that much. It was kind of I think coming off of episode 5, it was sort of not so great, but I mean...
The episode definitely did end strong compared to the rest of the episode, especially with that whole taking him to school, literally, in his mind.
Yeah.
And then everything that went on after that was pretty good.
Yeah, I think, because you told me, because I assumed he died, and again, I didn't watch after a certain period, so I didn't know what happened. So when you told me, oh, he was dead, quotation marks, so I was oh, okay, so he wasn't really dead, he was just sort of... But, he finds out that what happened, and then he kind of
I need to get home.
Yeah, he needs to get home and, be with his X-Men and all that stuff. And this Magneto just goes freaking ape shit.
That was awesome.
And which I was kind of waiting for, because at first when I was okay, is he a good guy now? And then, sure enough, they did the whole switcheroo.
He wanted to be the good guy, but he just got pushed too far, where no, something has to be done. Yeah, and I think it has been explored quite a bit, the whole... him trying to be good, and then sort of they've tackled it in the movies. 1 step forward, 2 steps back, always.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes a character intriguing to me, is because he's not really a villain, he's not a hero, he's kind of in between. Right. Can
go either way. Yeah.
But the real villain is Bastion, who's basically a mutant. Is he a telepathic? But he's a
technopathic.
Technopathic.
Yeah. But he's basically part Sentinel, part human. Which kind of makes him a mutant.
Yeah, which was a sort of an interesting angle. It was actually that episode where he kind of tells her what his plan was, and all these basically he implants just regular humans with the Sentinel gene, and then all of a sudden a switch goes off and they all basically turn into Sentinels, which I thought was really cool. That was another dark episode where I was damn, this is freaking...
Yeah, those Prime Sentinels are... Yeah, they definitely gave them their own look, because they look kind of similar, but they all had this weird look in the comic. I remember from in the 90s when that happened.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that was definitely different. It was a good take on the whole thing that went on then. Which is something the whole series did, or this whole season did. It took certain storylines that I really liked, or
Kind of made it better.
Yeah, it did. There was a few storylines that in the comics just went on way too long, and they kind of just streamlined them, took the best parts of them, and just kind of left out the fat.
Yeah, see, like for me, like I wasn't really familiar with this, so I was assuming, okay, I assumed they took it from the comic books and they kind of did something, but then again, I could have been like, oh, it could have been a completely new story, but overall, I mean, I with all the bad stuff that happened, like I was thinking, okay, are they going to kind of like have a happy ending? Because see, I'm still thinking of like like Game of Thrones, or
right.
I just finished Shogun, for instance. Like these are characters that you can kill off main characters and they'll just never come back again. Uh-huh. But I know this is comic book world, so you can do that, but then you can always bring them back somehow with like time travel or
right. Some kind of shenanigans.
Yeah, so that was my only complaint was I kind of already knew the story was going to wrap up kind of nicely. Everything was going to be okay at the end, even though we did lose like Gambit and a
lot of mutants on Genosha.
Yeah, but overall, I thought they did a good job of like pacing the episodes where it was like it left you feeling like, oh crap, like what's going to happen next?
Right.
And I think the ending was sort of deserved because they did those things.
Yes.
And especially that Wolverine scene where I was like, oh shit.
That I knew when that episode started and they had the previously on X-Men, every time they do it's different voice and it's going to showcase something that happens with that character.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard Wolverine's voice, I'm like, they're not going to do it. Are they going to do it? They're not going to do it. And they freaking did it.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, is he going to die? Because I know he has like healing powers and stuff
right.
like that, so of course he was like pretty much incapacitated on the last episode, like
right.
he even
he didn't factor in much to it.
Yeah. And then the end kind of like hints is like multiverse, or is it?
I think it's more time travel.
Okay.
Not multiverse.
Yeah, because you get Apocalypse, get a glimpse of Apocalypse.
You got a young Apocalypse, you got an old Apocalypse, and then you got something else. They definitely stuck that landing a lot better than I was expecting. Because everything was like, okay, you kept doing so much good stuff. Don't screw it up at the end.
Yeah, they did a really good job with the show.
I was actually freaking out too during that kind of fight because I remember in the comic book something happens where Bastion is fighting Nightcrawler, and since Nightcrawler's my boy, I didn't want this to happen.
Why don't you show everybody Nightcrawler?
So. There we go. But yeah, I was freaking out during that fight where he was just kind of bamfing all over the place, and nope, that didn't happen. He got knocked out, but it wasn't. He didn't die, so that was good.
Yeah, I think it was weird. They had they had the cameos like Daredevil and the Avengers, and I was like, it's so weird because I know X-Men is part of Marvel, but I always felt like it was its own thing. Like
they don't really cross over very much. I mean, there's a couple of X-Men that will show their members of the Avengers, but other than that, it's just not like, the books don't really.
Yeah, and I think because since Fox had control over the X-Men for so long too, that probably had something to do with it. But overall, recommend watching this show. If you are a fan of the original, even if you're not a fan, just like going in, just like cold, whatever.
There's some great dialogue in this show.
Yeah.
That's I've been noticing dialogue a lot more lately. I probably just from watching this or from us doing this, I've kind of been picking up on dialogue, and just like some of the dialogue in here is like, damn.
Yeah, really good. Recommend you watch it, but let us know if you did. Well, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed that. As always, if you like this video, be sure to like it and subscribe below. Have you seen X-Men 97? What do you think?
Are you looking forward to season 2? What other shows are you watching that you're really passionate about?
Yeah, let us know in the comments. And on that note, we will catch you next time.
Peace.